Political campaigns can feel, well, exhausting. The debates, TV ads,
Let's do this together.
rallies,
Senator Elizabeth Warren.
pundits.
What a showdown last night.
Politicians, the pollsters, the elite media.
And usually, voters are only going to remember one thing about a candidate: their slogan.
We are going to make America great again.
A slogan is a word or a phrase used to express a position or goal. And when it comes to politics, it's that little soundbite that politicians want you to remember them by. They're chanted at rallies, the closing line in speeches, and they're printed on posters. Back in the day, they were even turned into original songs.
I've been on campaigns where oh my God, you spend hours and hours looking at polling data. You test things out in focus groups. I mean, a lot of science goes into this.
That's Dennis W. Johnson. He's a former political strategist and professor who's written a lot of books on election campaigns.
You know, if you're going to have an effective political slogan, it's got to be memorable, it's got to be catchy, it's got to be true, and it also should be aspirational. It should be a positive kind of message.
And that's what made Obama's 2008 campaign slogan so successful.
Yes, we can.
Kind of a rock star, Michael.
A star is born.
And the same goes for Trump's Make America Great Again slogan, even if it wasn't exactly original.
For those who've abandoned hope, we'll restore hope and we'll welcome them into a great national crusade to make America great again.
Political slogans have been around since at least the 1800s in the United States. William Henry Harrison was a war hero who went by his nickname Old Tippecanoe after a battle he won in 1811. When he ran for president in 1840 with John Tyler, his slogan was Tippecanoe and Tyler too. The race is seen as the first modern presidential campaign, complete with an advertising campaign that cast Harrison as a hard-working Western farmer who lived in a log cabin, despite the fact that he grew up wealthy on the East Coast. Since then, campaign slogans have become an essential part of any leadership race.
I think my absolute favorite has to be I Like Ike.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum, we'll take Ike to Washington.
It tells you nothing about what he stands for, but it basically says, I like this fella. I think he'd be a good president.
We'll take Ike to Washington.
Political campaigns are all about messaging. How well one candidate can define themselves and their vision for the country. And to do that, they tell you a story. Listen to what Bill Clinton's former campaign manager, James Carville, had to say about it.
Since the first time, the first human being told somebody about their parents, every story that ever exists has the same arc. It cannot have any other arc. It's called setup, conflict, resolution. And it is the way that people receive information. It's the only way they receive information. We don't get information through 10-point plans.
And when you look at some successful presidential campaigns, the narratives carefully crafted by political strategists almost always center around two emotions: fear or hope. Nixon weaponized fear to cast himself as a law and order candidate.
We shall have order in the United States.
It's morning again in America.
Reagan was reelected after this historic ad convinced people he had turned the country around.
In an increasingly dangerous world.
George W. Bush used 9/11 to portray himself as America's protector. Obama championed a story of hope and change and progress.
We can choose hope over fear.
And Trump pulled a page from Nixon's playbook, ratcheting up white fear while offering a pseudo-nostalgic vision of old America. Of course, candidates don't get elected solely because of the story they tell. Campaigns take a small army to pull off, and there is a whole science dedicated to it. But research has shown that you can predict how someone will vote based on their perceptions of candidates' personalities, like how trustworthy they seem, or whether they'll make a good leader. Trump, for example, gets high ratings from Republicans on his personality traits, especially when it comes to his conviction. So why does this matter anyway? Well, the next time you go to a rally or watch a debate, and a politician makes you feel some type of way, know that it's not an accident. It's by design.
So, you're 18 years old and you haven't registered to vote? What are you waiting for? A, take the opportunity to let those people who are giving you a bad time now, let them have the bad time tomorrow.